What?
Being a boomer.
Sure.
Thanks for that cold open.
You're
God.
welcome.
Please no. I don't. I'd rather not have that be the cold opening.
Oh, it's too
Jesus
bad.
Christ. That's so... immediately just John groaning. God.
Yep. There you go.
Thanks for the cold opening.
Now the viewers can have more conversations that are split in half with no context.
It's tough work being a boomer, boys.
As
You know, and in the spirit of doing the cold open, I refuse to do an introduction entirely. You read the title. You know what you're
I'll
here
do
for.
it. I'll do it this
right?
time. I'll do it this time. I'll do
All
the
right, there we go. You do it.
We got me playing the ever intelligent Cairo Zetspo. Kodian as bonus. Nem or Kiel as Nox. And the ever so punctual Javier as Mr. Oid.
Oh.
Kyle, by the way, we can hear your TV. I hope you know.
Yeah, that's why I muted Kyle. Gotta love it.
Alright, there we go.
Alright, I'll mute Kyle then.
Professionalism.
At its
professional.
finest,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
At its finest.
Yeah. Cold opening. Cold opening.
Cold open. Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z, you guys perished in a fireball, I'm afraid. Your
We
vehicles
were in the race.
Yeah, your vehicles were all rigged to explode, and so now we're on the second season. Well, actually, it's the third season.
Brand new characters.
Brand new characters.
The Robo Dog was the only one to survive.
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys took a job to guard members of the Full Fuel Racing team for the duration of the Manifest Destiny Racing Royale. And last time was the banquet that prefaced is the pronunciation. The first leg of the race out of 5. The first leg being the Appalachian Mountains. And then you guys, went to the banquet. You had to handle one of the members, Mr. Barry Bullet, because he did copious amounts of drugs in the bathroom and came out yelling and screaming about something. He tried to tackle an ice sculpture, but a robot dog caught him before he could, and then he was promptly beaten unconscious and then dragged out of the building. So,
Yeah.
that was cool. And then you guys went your separate ways and napped, I assume. And then after you guys had your nap, it is now the day of the first leg of the race.
Alright.
So, do you guys have any preparations you wish to make before heading to the first leg of the race?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm assuming I have access to my entire home setup at the moment.
Yeah, you guys are still at your houses.
I'm going to place an order for the parts necessary to build, I forget what it was that she wanted, but the animal that Donna
Wasn't it just another
requested
dog?
me to build of her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was another dog.
It was either a dog or a cat.
No, it was a dog.
Was it?
I don't
pretty
think
sure.
she wanted a. I don't think she wanted a cat.
Yeah, she's usually the cat kind of person.
Alright, well, I'll place the order for those parts, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of those coin USB drives, load the program for, like, ONX programming onto that USB drive, and take that with me.
Okay, that is easily enough done. Let's see, where is... I will say that in total, the parts to build Ankh probably be like
Like,
15,000.
do I have a 3D printer? No, right?
No, you do not.
Not yet. All right. Well, then yeah, I'll place the orders for said parts.
Okay, yeah, so that's about 15,000 collars just for everything plus delivery and everything. That'll be there in the next few days, so you'll have to wait
All right.
till the race finishes, basically, to
Yeah.
pick everything up and make it. Anybody else have anything they wanted to do?
Oh, I also want to check my stocks.
Ah, yes, I have to roll for the stocks.
Yeah.
So I will do that. Wow. I actually rolled poorly enough to where KE actually fell.
Oh no.
I rolled on a D1 on percentile dice. I rolled a 10.
And what is it to not fall?
For KE, like probably like 15-20%, because they're very unlikely to do something bad, and they happen to roll poorly. So
They made a bad PR move.
yeah,
They dropped like
yeah.
2%.
So I will
All right, that's fine.
adjust that stuff accordingly.
That's fine. I'll keep my stocks. I'm not gonna pull out yet.
Where is?
Didn't you already pull out and now it's just
No.
free money in there?
Yeah, he pulled out some
I mean-
of it,
I mean,
but
yeah.
the profits are still in there.
Oh, you didn't cash in fully profit and then turned it over where it doesn't matter if it loses or gains?
Yeah.
That is true because I only put in 1,500.
Yes.
But I'm going to keep said 1,500 in there.
I get wrecked. I put in 5,000.
Yeah, that just
I mean,
means that
hey,
you
1,500.
you just means that you lose like 500 colors out of that stock for this.
Yep.
day.
I like gained something, but it's not enough to turn over. Need to wait
Exactly.
for
I'm not
it.
gonna pull out yet.
Yeah, I need to wait for it to reach like 10,000, and then I'll put that 5,000 probably somewhere else.
Alrighty. So that being said, anybody else have anything in particular? Any NPCs they wanted to talk to? Any contacts they wanted to make or use or discuss with or buy something from or anything of the sort?
I'm gonna check in on the lovely family at the noodle shop.
Okay, you could do that easily enough. They're all doing pretty well. They've still not had any major problems with the Mount Fu clan or anybody else coming around and harassing them. So
Okay, cool.
I got nothing really, I suppose. I don't think so. Yeah.
okay, Xavier, you sounded like you had something in mind.
Maybe not. I think I was going to say something about making sure I had some, product with me just in case, but
Check in with Tweak, see if she's got anything.
Or you can go to your gang affiliated contacts that you
That
have
is
now.
true. That is very true.
where exactly do these legs of the race take again?
The first leg is through the Appalachians and it ends in Chicago. The second leg is the Midwest and ends in, I think, the Rockies. And then the third leg is the Rockies and ends near Las Vegas. The fourth leg is the desert, and that ends at the coast of California. And then the fifth leg is the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, from California to Hawaii.
Oh wait, I'm stupid. We work for.
You work for Hermes, yes.
I could
Well,
just
you're-
get them delivered to that leg of the race.
Well, you're working technically. You're working for Xanthorpe, but because he like
Well,
there's like
yeah.
the whole like he's technically like rigging the race by having like by sponsoring 2 different teams, one under Hermes' name and one under his personal account.
Yeah.
But that's not anything special for this race, so nobody cares.
So in 4 days, where's the race gonna be?
In 4 days, it would be in leg 3, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to get it delivered to the hotel at leg 3.
Okay, you can have that happen.
All right, nice.
And then Mr. Oid, yeah, it's easy enough done if you wanted to talk to your the handler woman or whoever that's your like go-to contact for the gang. Then you can easily reach out to her and be like, hey, I'm gonna be going on the MDRR and following the race, so if you want to like hook me up along the way, I can make you all a bunch of money. And she's like, absolutely. And then she pretty much says that like she's basically going to give going to give you like an 18-wheeler full of product, and then have it be accompanied by like a couple of goons, and they're gonna drive it around following after the racers and stuff like that, and like stop by at each of the hotels and stuff like that, and help you sell the products. So you don't have to like leave your post or anything to do it. They'll be there, and you just have to like do the selling, but they can actually do the distributing and follow you around with the truck.
Alright, that sounds like an amiable arrangement.
Alrighty. In that case, unless anybody else has anything else they wish to do, you all hop in your cars around noon-ish and head over to the beginning of the race. The starting line is near the edge of the city of Ryanstown, so it is a several-hour drive for all of you because you guys are on the coast. But you all make it there, and this starting line looks like they took whatever buildings used to live in the middle of this downtown, like New York City level cityscape, and just demoed like a solid city block of it, and then put like a miniaturized stadium that just opens up onto the civilian roadways. Like there is no track; it's just you drive through the city, with this big proper starting line and stuff hooked up to the like garages and stuff like that they have, and the 6-cylinders that's also here. A different 6-cylinder branch than the one you guys went to the night previous, but still a part of the chain. So you all get to park in the employee only parking lot area where all the other like you guys see like armored SWAT vans and stuff with like turrets on the top and stuff like that of all the private mercenary companies that have been hired to protect either the executives or the drivers or the cars or whatever. There's like a serious amount of firepower in this parking lot. Like, it's talking like APCs. There are helicopters flying overhead. It is the real deal. And you all park in your dinky little vehicles compared to these armored ones, and you all get out. You all know vaguely where to go to like the VIP entrance, stuff like that. And eventually, you kind of enter and start walking around the kind of like innards of the like stands in the stadium itself. It's kind of U-shaped stadium that's here. The kind of employee-only like maintenance hallways, stuff like that they use to move stuff around. And you all eventually find Mr. Xanthorpe, Hermes Johnson, as he is furiously walking around with his bald bodyguard, yelling orders at people and getting things moved around, because of course, Hermes is the company responsible for moving all the cars and stuff and getting everything on time. So he is also in charge of like most of the race, basically. So he is a very busy man, and he sees you all as you all kind of walk in this hallway, and he's like, of course, if it isn't my favorite companions, I'm glad to see you all made it. I know it was kind of a long drive to get here, but it'll be well worth it. I assure you. Like, come, please. I need to explain how this is going to work to all of you. And he kind of gestures for you all to kind of huddle around him in this hallway.
All right, yeah.
So you all huddle up, and Zentrum's like, all right, so the way the race works is that along the track, quote unquote, it's just the road. There are designated points where the racers all have connected pit stop areas that have been pre-constructed out of prefab buildings and stuff set up the night before. So basically, how it'll work is you've got full fuel. They're all here, milling about, and then they're getting prepped for the race and stuff still. And then once the race starts, everybody that isn't currently racing, that being everybody except for Barry, will get in a Hermes helicopter along with all of you, and then you will fly to the next pit stop location. And then when the racers pass you, if Barry needs a pit stop, then he will come by, and pull in. And then after he leaves, you'll get back on the chopper and fly to the next pit stop point, and just kind of keep leapfrogging it until you hit Chicago, basically. And then once you hit Chicago, and all of the racers are over the finish line, or at least all the racers that still have cars and or are alive when they hit the finish line, then you all have that evening to, this evening rather, to go and have dinner, sleep. Then the next day is free. The racers get to walk around the city and enjoy the sights and stuff, do whatever they want. And then that night is the banquet. The next morning is the second leg of the race. So each one goes in that kind of regimented order, basically.
All right.
So, any questions?
Yeah, I don't think so. Just flying around, helping pit the car, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Hermes is just like, yes, you guys shouldn't be expected to actually do any of the maintenance unless something were to happen that's like, that pressing and requires your assistance. However, that being said, I would suggest that you all keep your eyes peeled. The local individuals, the indigenous peoples of Appalachia, are pretty hostile and generally don't like when the racers fly over their highways and stuff. So they may attempt to sabotage you or attack the racers, knock trees over, blow the road up, stuff like that. Most of the vehicles are equipped to anticipate that sort of thing, and have jump pads, or they can fly, or they can drive on a wall, stuff like that, to avoid obstacles. But they may attempt to attack the pit area. If that's the case, then you guys are there to keep them all safe.
Sounds about right.
I'm like, all right. If you need me, I'm going to be on the executive VIP blimp, the Mile High Club. So see ya later. And then him and the bald bodyguard march off down the hallway and leave you all to yourselves.
All right, time to get started then.
All right, so you all head out into actual stands, and you see this humongous starting area. There's probably a few hundred racers set up in the kind of staggered, starting lines, with all of their crews and stuff standing around. There are reporters and drones flying around, taking pictures and interviewing people. There are groups of the pit crews and stuff maintaining vehicles, last minute adjustments, last minute tests, filling cars up with fuel or charging their generators. There are a few crews that are using like intricate, like basically like exosuits to move chunks of cyanide into the car generators for the vehicles that have what are essentially nuclear generators in their cars. You all get a pretty good look at all of the contestants, I guess we'll say. And of course, at the front is Mr. Pavel, the Ejected Industries star driver, the predicted winner of the race. He's there. And then immediately behind him are a couple of Kode Enterprises sponsored vehicles. Oid and Cairo. You both can make me intelligence checks.
All right. That is a 7, good sir.
All right. Mr. Oid.
I don't know what your threshold is on this for this intelligence check.
Ooh.
First 10.
Natty.
Oh, of course. Well, in that case, Mr. Oid, you look at one of the vehicles, one of the kind of the one that's right next to Pavel's car, the star Kode Enterprises driver. I can provide art. In his car, it's not quite chrome, but it's definitely silvery and shinier than steel is, and you clock it immediately as being this car is made of titanite. Which is, I mean, it's the only vehicle here that has that level of stuff, of armor and stuff.
How would you even break the car? What?
That's the point.
You don't.
Yeah. So you clock that immediately. You also clock. Well, I mean that they're filling it up with cyanide. So, unsurprisingly, they have the most advanced tech. You would both estimate that car is worth several million dollars by itself. Just in the chassis alone is worth a ludicrous amount of money, because it's made of the best material in the world.
Yeah.
So, there is that. You do also, of course, see Barry Bullitt in his sci-fi Mustang out there, putting his helmet on and stuff, and you see the pit crew and everything are filling the car up with the synthetic chem fuel, and doing the final checkups and everything.
So what was that intelligence check for?
To clock
the
the car.
titanite?
Yeah, to clock the car as being made of special material. No other vehicle appears to be that way. Even the bikes and stuff like that are all appear to be made out of steel or plexiglass sort of deal. That's the only one made of titanite that you can tell anyway. And they definitely seem to be showing it off, because there are a bunch of reporters gathered around the car and the driver, asking him questions, taking pictures of the vehicle, stuff like that. So yeah, there's where your charges are, if you will, your clients. So do what you will.
All right.
Well, I guess I'm gonna, point out the KE card to the boys. Be like, fierce competition, huh?
Yeah, it looks to be the only car made like that, so yeah, I'd say so. That stuff is basically indestructible, so... I suddenly have a sour feeling about this.
Well, at least winning isn't really our problem.
Yeah. Alright, well, might as well get down to the pits.
Indeed.
So you all go down to the actual pit area, and there you guys find Frank. He's there. He's kind of dressed in a polo shirt with the Full Fuel logo on it and stuff. He's got the jumpsuit jacket tracksuit jacket on. He's observing the teams go to work and do their thing. And then there is Donna, the mechanic. She is, of course, with the other pit crew members working on Barry's car. Barry definitely looks hungover. Definitely looks like he has only recently come down from whatever crash he suffered from after the previous night's celebrations, shall we call them. And Fayth, the secondary racer, is with her dad, just looking dejected and cranky because she wanted to be the one to do the driving, and she isn't. So
I'll look over to Oid and be like, "Hey, you got anything to pick this man back up?"
I may or may not. Let me see.
let's give him bloodlust, bro. Come on.
No,
What do you mean?
that is a
could give
last
him-
resort. That is a last resort.
A little bit of brain juice, but it's not really. I don't have anything specifically for hangovers.
I mean, just something to sharpen him up, keep his, get him alive.
I mean, keep in mind he is also going to be pumped full of drugs the entire time he's driving. So
Well, obviously, yeah.
I guess I'll walk over to the driver. What was his name again? Billy, Bob.
Barry.
Barry the bullet.
It was me,
And I'll,
Barry.
just straight up walk up and ask him, so, would you be willing to tell me what drugs you're on currently? It may or may not affect your performance in the race.
What drugs are you on right now?
God, can you imagine just like the Olympic Games? He just walks up to one of the athletes and is like, "Sir, what drugs are you on right now?" Just flat out. Great. So okay, you walk up and Barry like coughs and like stumbles over the words, and he's like, "Me, nothing, man. What do you mean?" As he like scratches at his arms and stuff like that and jitters.
I'm just gonna stare at him for like a solid 5 seconds, and then walk away. I'm gonna go over to like, one of the pit crew, like Donna or whatever, and be like, "Excuse me, miss, would you happen to know which drugs Barry is on right now? It may or may not affect his performance in the race."
Donna's like, "Oh, I mean, God knows, honestly. He could be on like literally anything or everything. But I'm pretty certain he's already taken like several hits of steer to, I don't know, sharpen his mind or whatever he says. I'm pretty sure he's hooked on that stuff, to be honest. But, you know, his life, not mine."
Can I recall off the top of my head what steer does particularly?
That is the hyperreaction drug that lets the racers move their vehicles and react at like 400 miles per hour.
Huh.
It also like slows your perception of time so they can react and everything.
I see. Alright, well, I'm debating whether or not to give him my own brain juice if he already has some brain juice.
I mean, a smart Barry bullet would be interesting to see.
It could help.
Well, I was gonna ask, what do you say?
I think it could help.
Alright. Off the top of my head, would I know any potential reactions mixing brain juice could cause?
Give me an intelligence check.
Alright. Ah, perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
A 1 then?
Yep.
Oh yeah, no reactions whatsoever. Totally good.
Can I look it up?
I mean, I guess it depends on if the drug Xavier is planning on using is readily available to the public or not.
Is it readily available to the public, Xavier?
I don't think so.
I'll find it on a forum somewhere. Can I take a look at disadvantage?
Give me like double disadvantage, but sure.
Deal. You've got yourself a deal. I'm making a perception check?
Intelligence.
Oh, intelligence? Oh, that's one of my best perks. You messed up now. Oh man, I rolled 2 9s and an 8. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, after like 5 minutes of searching like the deep web and stuff, looking for like the formula that Oid used to make this brain juice like forever ago, eventually you find something on like some super shady website.
Druggies are us.
Yeah. But eventually you do find something that sounds similar after you kind of check with Oid whatever. He's like, oh, it's kind of like it. You figure, let's see, what drug are you actually going to use, Xavier? Or think you're going to use?
On my character sheet, it is the one by name of Stefano.
Yeah. Okay, let me. All right, let's see. Cephalo boosts senses and mental clarity. Okay. Remember negative condition like stunned or sleep. You think this might cause problems? In not as much as like the drugs themselves will like conflict and he'll OD or something. But it's more of the boost to his perception combined with the slowing perception of time might give him like an autistic sensory overload sort of deal, and he might like
Have
green
a
out.
seizure?
Well, it could be a seizure depending on how sensitive he is to light, or he'll just like totally zonk out and like an acid trip basically and be overwhelmed by sensory information. You don't know though. You can't be sure. It depends on how sturdy Bullet's body is.
I'll call over to Barry and I'll be like, hey, how resilient do you think you are to mixing, like drugs?
It's like, what kind are we talking about? Like over the counter, prescription?
Okay, so if we were to give you something that would boost your perception, and then you take drive, which slows your perception of time, do you think you can handle that?
I'm gonna make him make a check. Let's see. Yeah, sure. He's confident.
All right, good enough for me.
You got a 2, by the way.
This is going to be a
Oh,
hilarious turn of events, if nothing else.
All right. Oid, do you think he should take it?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
You're the closest thing to a doctor we have, so you'll have to do.
I mean, I guess I could do like.
Can you do
Actually, the
an
race starts like
extended release?
imminently, right? So there's no
Yeah.
testing to be done right now. It's just gonna be either he has it or he doesn't.
Do you think you could do it where it's like an extended release? Or like a small dose to test it out?
I mean, I could give him like, a sample for this leg of the race, and if he doesn't keel over and die, then we can try something else on the next.
Yeah, sure.
You're
give
gonna
him a little taste.
overdose Perry before he can do it himself.
Let's give him a little sampling then.
This is going to end well. I can foresee it.
Okay, you want to give him a dose then?
Not a full one, but
Okay, I'll give him an
We'll see.
advantage on his endurance check then to resist the effects of this drug. You're gonna only giving him a half
nice.
dose. That was almost two. That was almost 2 ones. That was very close to being 2 ones. He got one, and the second number isn't a whole lot better. It's a 4. I'm gonna look at his character sheet because I don't think that passes, but I'm gonna double check. Ooh, it matches.
Please just make it barely pass.
Evens are odds, Xavier.
Oh no.
oh, let's go with evens.
All right, let's see if fate is in your favor today. They're not.
Oh,
I got a
no.
3. Okay, so
Oh, no.
you kind of your hand kind of opens up and you poke Barry in like the neck with this little needle and you only give him like half of a syringe full of it. And nothing happens at first, and he's like, "Oh, that's it? Come on, man, I can handle more than that. I can handle more than." And he just his mouth just like slacks, and he just kind of like his head lolls to the side, and he just stands there, staring like at the crowd of people moving, and like walking around and everything, and he just is like entranced.
All right. Bad idea. Let's return to 0.
Tell me again why we were undrugging him.
No, they overdrugged him is the problem. They never undrugged
right.
him to drug him.
All
Why?
right, let's return to 0.
Hold on. Wait.
Rewind. Go
What?
back.
Rewind. What? Why were you trying to give him drugs in the first place?
To ensure a win. To clinch a win here.
Performance-enhancing drugs.
So you're going to give him more performance-enhancing drugs to his already performance-enhancing drugs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a
In
problem?
retrospect, perhaps not the greatest idea.
No, it's not.
It's fine. I don't know
retrospect-
what you are talking about.
Hey, in
It's
my defense,
fine.
there is no possible way we could have known it would end up like this.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. Absolutely
That
no
is true.
possible way.
There's a strong possible way, but okay.
I think Bonus just kind
Impossible.
of like goes to grab Barry, and he just starts like moaning to himself because of the overload of his
All right.
his senses, and he just kind of
All right.
starts like Bonus just
Actually
like
zombified.
brings him and shoves him into the car and just kind of closes the door and he's like, he'll be fine.
Are you
He'll be
sure? Do you want to like give him? Do you want to give him our nullifying drug before he gets in that car?
I mean, you only give him half a dose, right? It'll only last like a
Like
couple
30
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah, it'll last a
It
couple
only
minutes.
lasts a whole race.
It only lasts 18 years. It's fine. He's only brain dead.
Mm.
Like, Bonus is like, he'll be fine. Like, all we gotta do is,
You're
is
sure?
wait. Like, well, yeah, you'll give half a dose, right? It'll last like 5 minutes, so it'll only take 2 minutes. And then as soon as you say
Hey,
that,
Oid, how long?
over the PA, you hear the announcer say, "Race begins in 1 minute."
Oh God. Yeah, let's get that Narcan. Hey, come on. Oid, let's get him up.
I guess we don't have much choice. He's going to be catatonic for the next
Like
2.5 minutes.
like 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah.
What do you mean, man? What do you mean?
So yeah, let's come on, let's get him up. Come on, let's go.
All right. What drug are you going to pump him full of now?
Our bootleg Narcan, I think.
Heroin.
Heroin. Straight up normal, mundane heroin. All right, cool. He
Oh,
perishes
no.
on the spot.
Sit.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
Now
they literally
the
make
back
him.
guard to
Alright.
take his place.
Like I think
Alright.
if you were to actually give him like anything else like that, It'd be like in in RimWorld, where you like their consciousness hits so low they just perish. It'd be like that. He gets like 5% consciousness and just dies. Just brain dead. But anyway,
That way the daughter can drive.
Yeah, she can drive
yeah,
now.
he just purposefully overdose the berry. The berry. God. Okay, so you hit him with some. You open the door again, and you punch him with some Narcan, and he kind of like vomits all over the asphalt, and his vomit is like multicolored. it's like oil, all the drugs in his system. Yeah, he's whacked out. But
All right, Barry, how you feeling?
He's kind of like he's at least lucid now, I guess. And he kind of like lifts his head, and his like he's still wearing his helmet, so the vomit kind of like spread like against the inside of his helmet, and then like leaked down the bottom of it over his like shirt. So he's covered in vomit right now. And he just kind of like lifts the visor up.
Wait,
and
you gave it to him while he was. Oh my god.
And his eyes are like still super like dilated, but he's looking around, and he's like, oh, where am I? What's going
You're
on?
at the race.
Like, oh, I'm at the race, and he freaks out, and he's like, all right, I got this, and he just leans back into his seat, and you see he like puts his arm on the armrest of the chair and just jams a needle into his arm. And he like smacks a button on the control panel, and he like freaks out and spasms, and then he looks to all of you, and his pupils are like pretty much his entire eyeball, like they are maximum dilated, basically, unnaturally so. And he's either flicking between all of you at like stupidly fast speeds, and he slams the door, and he just hits the button on the car, and it revs to life, and you can just hear him screaming through the walls of the car. It's very strange.
All right then. Well, let's get back to the pits.
You turn around,
Good
and
work, everyone.
I almost feel bad.
Yeah, Donna's just staring at this scene and being like, "Is he okay?"
Yeah,
I'll be
he'll
honest,
fine. He'll be
Probably
fine.
not.
Not in the slightest. And I continue walking.
But you know what?
He's a
Give you a
ticking time
chance.
bomb, but it's fine.
Donna just blinks and is like, "Okay, whatever," and then walks away. When you
Sooner or
guys-
later, his heart's gonna give out, but then your sister gets to drive. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. So you guys, get it back into the stands with the other members of the team, and you all await the beginning of the race. But before the race starts, you're all in the stands, and you know how like in the stadium the guys that like carry like the hot dogs and stuff, and they sell the swag and everything. One of those guys is coming down in the stands, and he's get your synthetic hot dogs here, get your soy based products here, get your ramen, and he walks up to you, Cairo, and he just gets in your face, and he's like, "Hello, sir. Have some buy some ramen, buy some soy based synthetic products for your sustenance."
No, I think I'm good.
He's like, "No, sir. I'm sure you want this. I'm sure you want what I'm having."
I'll can I look and see what he's actually selling?
Give me a perception check.
That is a 6.
Okay, a 6. So you give this guy a once over. He is dressed in. Oh God, how company would this be? Let me look at my long list of corporations here. He would be probably dressed in. I don't think I actually have like a food company. It's kind of ironic, but that's fine. So you're interested in like probably like the Xenocorp's subsidiary, food product company that makes like synthetic foods. He's got like the weird like sun visor over his eyes so he doesn't get like blinded by the sun. He smells of sunscreen. He has this like backpack and like the tray over his front where you get the food and stuff you can buy. He has a what looks to be like a credit card machine built into his bionic arm. You could like swipe your credit card and stuff, which is also pretty cool. And then you notice that around his neck, there is like just barely visible underneath his like popped collar of his uniform is his metal collar. And you kind of, it's like, what is that? That doesn't look like a normal like fashion statement. And then you kind of look at his face, and then he kind of leans really close into you, and his voice changes entirely, and he's like, "It's me, laddie. It's me. Come on. I've words."
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
What? Don't question it. All right. Look, I have some business to tend to. All right, but look, all right. I'm here undercover. I'm being sneaky. All right. Look. And he kind of like taps the collar, and like half of his face reverts back to Dapper, and then the other half remains holographically like covered. And then he taps it again, and it forms back all the way. And he's like, "Look, right? I have some jobs, but I can't tell you all here. All right? When we get to Chicago, I want you to go into the city and meet, ask around. Right? Ask for. I had to find this character now. The name of this person. I should have found this name earlier, but I forgot to do that. Yeah, he's like, when we get to Chicago after the race ends, right? I can't follow you because I'm currently being hunted down by some very nasty people. However, I have a contact in the city that I believe has some information for you, maybe some work. Who knows? I don't. I was never here.
Dapper, we're on a job right now.
Look, I know. But look, this is important business, all right? I assure you.
How important is it compared to what we are currently doing?
Like what? Look, all right? I assure you, the pay will be worth it, and it's a job you could probably do in one day. So, shouldn't be any problems, shouldn't cause any issues. Like, look, I know you're here on, like, protecting these, idiots or whatever, these civilians, so bring them along for the job, too, no harm, no foul. They won't get shot, probably, hopefully, maybe not.
Probably, he says.
We'll look into it.
Like, while you're, okay, yes, my contact, he goes by Ancient Red Pipes, yes, look for him. He owns another one of my suit shops in Chicago.
Why do I have a bad feeling about this?
You always have a bad feeling about this.
Like,
because it's Dapper.
There's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be worried about. I assure you. It's just
you said that last time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look, I don't control the terrorists. All right, they attacked you guys on their own accord. I had nothing to do with it.
You also said this about the suit.
It'll be fine. And then he just leans back, like extends back up straight. He's like, "Get your soy here," and he keeps walking.
Well, gang, looks like we've got a job in Chicago now.
I mean, I don't mind.
You don't
He said
mind?
the pay's worth it, so it better be.
You don't mind? You're gonna mind, all right? How about that?
What? Are you telling me I have to
Mind.
mind that I'm
I
doing a
mind.
job for Dapper, bro? What? My favorite, trustworthy, never lying suit spy?
Yeah, bro. The
Please.
most trustworthy person you could possibly ever know ever.
I think even Oid is up for this job. Isn't that right?
So much for a regular protection detail.
Lamau. So Dapper leaves. He keeps doing his quote-unquote job. And then the race begins, and all the cars take off. You know, they do the countdown and everything. They do like the announcements and everything beforehand. Like, you know, this race is sponsored by, and it lists to every corporation in the city, basically. And then the race begins, and all of the cars in this massive column take off, and they all like hard drift around the corner, and they just start driving on civilian roads where there are still civilian cars driving around. Definitely not horrible traffic violations.
Well, we should probably get to the helicopter.
Yeah, you should. And yeah, once the race begins, you all get into this big helicopter that's kind of parked on the roof of the stadium, alongside the helicopters for all the other racing teams and their pit crews and stuff. And you all begin your first trip. And you get in the helicopters, and you take off. You get into the sky, and you begin flying over the city, headed to the west. And you guys kind of fly parallel at first to this massive column of cars. And no weapons are allowed to be used in city limits, because last time they allowed weapon use in city limits, a block burnt down. So they changed the rules on that.
So this is just a race.
Yeah, this is a normal race. You can still like bump people and stuff, and like jump and all that stuff. You just can't like whip out a plasma caster and open fire on a civilian marketplace.
How's Barry doing?
Well, he was probably like 150th, like about middle of the pack, starting out. He's probably like 120th, 130th place.
Okay, so our boy's moving up.
Yeah, he's moving up, drifting around corners, everything, moving through traffic. But eventually, you guys see and fly over the wall, the term for the skyscraper-sized, titanite-plated giant wall that separates Ryanstown from the rest of the world, the outside, is what it's referred to. I don't think any of you have actually seen the outside or been outside of the city before, or outside of a city before.
No, we have. We went to Egypt.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like in the U.S.
Oh, towards the west. Yeah.
Yeah. So the wall, giant, skyscraper-sized. There are these massive railgun turrets dotted around the wall with like AA guns and stuff and everything around as well. Laser turrets, missile systems, to ward off would-be invaders should another corporation get uppity and decide to attack Ryanstown for some reason. There's also a giant gate that is currently open, or being opened anyway, for the drivers to drive out. There is one like highway-looking road that leads out of the city, and for probably like a mile or two radius around the wall, it is just a wasteland of just like mud, like oil, toxic sludge, irradiated water, no trees, no plant life, no animals, anything. This is a giant open field. You would all also probably know that the wasteland is also like covered in mines and like booby traps and stuff like that. So there's that. And you guys kind of cross over the wall, and you leave the smog cloud of Ryanstown as the racers leave the city, and you kind of cross over the wasteland and into the forests of Appalachia as the road very quickly begins ascending up these spiraling hills and through tunnels and everything like that. And the racers are, of course, booking it. Many of them are traveling easy, like 200 plus, 300 plus miles per hour. Not quite speed limit, like speed of sound yet. That's tends to happen at like the Midwest section, where it's just a single straight road for like thousands of miles, and you can just book it and go full flat out. These roads are a lot more windy, a lot thinner, also a lot more precarious, because as you guys heard about previously, maintenance of these roads is pretty poor this year. So a lot of the guardrails and stuff aren't in place. A lot of the tunnels are leaking water or collapsed or whatever. So they had to make like dirt paths and stuff up the mountainsides to kind of compensate for that. It's pretty bad. But the drivers don't seem any perturbed. They keep booking it. And it, sure enough, eventually they do, make it into the mountains, and you lose sight of pretty much everyone through the very thick tree line and everything like that. And the race goes smoothly. You guys, land at various pit stops. Barry blows right through pretty much all of them because it's Barry. I don't know what you expect.
Yeah.
He's a confident man. He trusts his car. He thinks that he can make it through in one shot. He can't. He has to make a couple pit stops over the way. He doesn't die. His car doesn't get destroyed. He makes it into like the top 100, probably like the 60th, the 60s, 50s places. As you guys, watch from afar, as he is winding around. The entire time, Frank and Fayth and Donna are all on headsets, giving him orders, warning him of upcoming, turns, stuff like that, obstacles, telling him, giving updates about how far he's along the track and everything. Usually his responses on the radio are just incoherent screaming, because he is high as balls. But, at least he can respond, I guess, as opposed to your alternate plan where he was catatonic. And yeah, the day goes by pretty quick. The entire first leg of the race starts at noon. You guys finish at around 6 because these cars go dummy fast. And eventually, the Supercity of Chicago comes into view. Chicago is very different from Ryanstown. That being, it's a lot wider and not as tall, right? And also, another big difference between Chicago and Ryanstown, the outside, the area beyond the walls of the city, for several miles are these giant greenhouses and farm fields, most of which anyway, are automated, with automated trucks and sprinkler systems and all that stuff, hydroponics bays, to feed the city and everything like that. It's significantly prettier than Ryanstown is from a distance because it isn't as big. There isn't as thick a smog cloud overhead. It isn't always raining here. The farms make it look nice from the outside. Eventually, the city comes into view, and the racers make it down the mountains, and they're zipping. And the end of the first leg of the race is that kind of Midwestern style, one straight road forever. So you guys do actually hear like Pavel, his car, the KE car, straight up as well, can break the sound barrier with ease. So the top 50 cars just boom, 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 and the sounds echo through the mountains and the trees and stuff like that as their cars very easily bust through the sound barrier and accelerate to their maximums. But eventually you guys fly over the wall into Chicago, and your helicopters land on the roof of the kind of this part of the track, this kind of stadium area, which is attached to the garages, which is attached to a car factory, which is attached to the 6 cylinders. So it's all in one big plaza, basically, for the race. The helicopter lands, you all head back down into the stands, passing the cheering crowds of people, and the reporters, and there's hundreds of drones flying around, recording the racers as they come in. There are camera drones that are owned by the race to make sure that nobody is fudging their recordings or trying to teleport ahead or whatever, because that is a thing that can happen. Make sure that the line and stuff is respected and everything. Eventually, most people make it across the finish line. Being that it is the first leg of the race, there isn't a lot of pressure to win or be first. So the use of weapons and stuff is relatively minimal. Although a few dozen cars were like shoved off of the cliffs and stuff, and fell like 100 feet, and like, exploded and whatever. Um, the drivers would all be picked up by um, like German helicopters and stuff like that. But you guys make it down, and you all run down onto the track as Barry speeds across the finish line. He made it into like the high 50s, so not quite top 50, but he easily made like almost 100 places during that race, which is phenomenal. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So he kind of like drifts the car to a stop, a perfect like couple of yards away from you guys as you all approach, and the door pops open and he stumbles out of the car, covered in more vomit. The inside of his car smells god awful. It was like a sewage treatment plant. He stumbles out and he stumbles towards you and he's like, "Oh, did I do good?"
Well, you gained at least 100 places, so I'd say yeah, you did pretty good.
And he kind of like walks up to Frank, and he kind of like claps Frank on the shoulder, and he's like, "You're welcome, old man." And then he just kind of falls backwards and promptly passes out. And the cheering of the crowd is almost deafening down here. And Frank turns to you all, and he's like, "All right, great job, everybody. There wasn't any major issues. Kind of surprising, honestly, but it is what it is. So I say we head to the hotel, get comfortable, have our dinners, and get some rest. I think everybody has their own stuff they wanted to do tomorrow, so we'll all be splitting up, I guess, into our protection duty. The pairs you all assigned for us.
So we're in Chicago right now, right?
Yep, you are all in Chicago.
All right. I'll turn to the others in the group, and then I'll turn to the pit crew and stuff. I'll be like, "We have another thing that we need to take care of while we're here. Would anybody be interested in joining us? Just to make our lives easier."
Frank's like, "Well, since bonus seems to be your, main muscle, I guess I can come along tomorrow if you'd like."
Yeah, sure. Anyone else?
Let's see. I think Fayth would also speak up. She'd be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come along."
I'll look to Donna and be like, "Going with?"
And then she's like, "Well, I did have plans for the day, and I think Barry did as well. I think he wanted to meet some friends. So,
Alright. In which case, I'll leave Ankh in your care until yours is built.
She's like, "All right, cool." She's like, "Yeah, I wanted to check out. There's gonna be like a big mechanics and engineering convention going on tomorrow through this like week or whatever, and I wanted to go and check it out before it closes."
Oh, you're kidding.
She's like, "No." She's like, "Dude, it's gonna be so crazy." And she pulls up like a cell phone, a smartphone, and she goes over and she shows you like the like website, and it like there's gonna be like a bunch of Dream engineers, Enterprises engineers. They're gonna be showing off like brand new like ultra tech bionics. They're gonna be showing off like nano machines, new like reactor types, new prototype drones and robots, new weaponry, new vehicles. It's gonna be super good, super sweet.
I'm gonna dial up Dapper really quick.
Okay, you call him, and he answers the
I
phone.
don't need a rain check.
He answers the phone, and you just hear, "Buy some soy here," through the
Hey,
phone.
Dapper. Really
Yes.
quick,
What did you need?
buddy. Can I send Ankh on this mission with the team as my stand-in? Because Ankh is more than capable at threat detection and elimination. And if you're saying that it's such an easy job, then it shouldn't be a problem if I send Unk in my stead, should it?
I don't think he said it was an easy job, but okay.
He said it was only take one day. It was a simple job, not an easy job. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't know all the details. You'll have to speak to my companion on the morrow, I believe. But I mean, if you think your robot's up for the job, I guess, then I don't see why not. But
Unk was handcrafted to handle things.
he was like, are there going to be any humans involved in the making of this mission, or are you going to just send robots?
Well, of course there will be.
Only robots.
Wait and Unk.
Only robots.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, the rest of the group is going. I think I'm the only one that's not going to be there.
I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that'll be fine.
Cool, sick.
I trust
Can
Bonus to
Ankh
handle it.
receive my payment in my stead?
And he's like, you have to speak to Mr. Red Pipes for that, but I don't see
Alright,
why
fine.
not.
Alright, sick. I'll turn to Donna and be like, I'm good to go.
And she's like,
First,
sick.
I'll turn to the rest of the group and be like, is everybody fine with that?
I think I'm gonna go like, yeah, sure, it's fine, and I'm gonna turn to Oid and I'm like, wow, he's ditching us for a girl.
Bonus leans in and he's like, date night?
Date night, bro. You're gonna smash, technological, technology
We're not there
convention
yet.
and chill. Technology
Not there
convention and chill.
Bonus
Let's
is
see how
like,
this
well, they are
goes.
sharing a hotel room, so I'm gonna be
Oh.
surprised. And then Frank's
It's true,
like,
but so
there'll
are
be
you and
no
Frank."
canoodling, no such things.
Hey, Bonus, you and Frank are sharing a hotel
He's like, yeah, me and Frank are gonna play poker.
room.
Yeah. Who's the her? Winkets.
they both look at you and with like very confused expressions on their faces, like, what?
They're boomers, it won't make sense to them.
I'm tearing up at that. Oh, that was great. I like that one. I'm gonna keep that.
And
can
then
write that one down.
I'll turn back to Dawn and be like, alright, I'm good to go to this convention.
And she's like, sick.
Alright, well, from now on I'm leaving Ankh in your protection, Bonus.
Bonus just kind of is like, alright, sure.
Alright.
Don't
You all
know.
head off to your hotels, I assume.
Yeah.
E6 cylinders is of course attached to the rest of the stadium, so that's not, anything particularly new. It's a 5-star hotel, easily, very nice. The rooms are large. You've all got individual bathrooms. I assume you are all staying with the people you are protecting, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's kind of required of
mean-
Lloyd to stay with Barry.
Yeah, Barry is
Good thing
unconscious.
Oid's just a robot and can't smell, but Jesus.
Barry needs parental supervision, okay?
He does, yes. And I think Oid will have to check his vitals a couple times to make sure he hasn't died in his sleep or something like that.
He's just got him hooked up to a heart monitor.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Oid is the heart monitor, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm
but
saying.
Yeah, so you need to do that a little bit to make sure he doesn't seizure himself to death. But he seems to be okay, just unconscious, coming down from the steer high and stuff like that. And you all have dinner, minus Oid, who is a robot, and minus Barry, who's unconscious. But those of you get your dinner, you can get pretty much whatever you want. Although all the foods here are car or mechanics themed. So there is that. But it
Are
is
you
all
telling me I'm gonna get
5-star.
a sandwich that looks like a tiny car?
You could, or you could get the steak that's carved to look like a wheel, and they've grilled it to have the tire tread marks and stuff. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But all of the food is, of course, top tier gourmet stuff. I'm talking like Wagyu beef. I'm talking fresh, organic, genuine foods grown in Chicago, of course.
I will have the salmon tacos.
Nice.
Salmon tacos.
Yes.
If you guys do get any kind of pretty much any kind of food you want, if it's on the menu, you can talk to the chefs and they'll make it for you because they want to tick off the security. Mostly. All it takes for you guys to mention that you work for Xanthorpe and they're like, oh, of course, sir, anything you want. So yeah, easily done. Let me look at my notes. Even though I don't actually have very many notes for this, but it's fine. Yes, okay. So yeah, so the night goes by rather uneventfully. Bonus and Frank play their poker. They have some beers, they chit-chat. The rest of you, talk, eat, sleep. When you all wake up, Barry is awake now. He has come down from his crash and is no longer catatonic or unconscious. So he is, ready to take on the day. What do you all wish to do?
First things first, I'm going to start by working on the changes to the programming on the animal that I'm going to be giving Donna to make it not exactly combat ready. Like, I need to take out the requirements for a machine gun and whatnot. So,
so what are you going to build this robot with then? What do you like? What weapons are you giving it?
I'm probably going to be doing something along the lines of it has teeth that like retract when it is not in like a defensive mode, and then when it is, teeth come out that are serrated, and then I'm going to be giving it retractable claws and stuff like that. It's basically going to be a wolf, like Ankh but bigger.
Okay, all right. No, that's easy.
I'm also programming it. I'm also programming it to compensate for that size.
Of course, yeah, you gotta change those parameters and stuff. Okay.
I probably would have worked on a good portion of it during the night.
Okay. Are you still going to get like a full 8 hours rest, or are you gonna pull an all-nighter and be exhausted the next day?
I don't think I would have pulled an all-nighter because the parameters on it that I need to change are fairly simple. So it's just tweaking some numbers here and there. So I don't think it would have been a big change that would have demanded like a lack of 8 hours of sleep. I think it could have been done in like maybe an hour or two.
Okay, yeah, you could do that. It'll take you a few days to actually like build the full thing. Probably by the time the race ends or so, you'll probably be finished with it. But for now, you got like the part of the head built and stuff, and you've worked out the kinks in the programming, so you don't have to worry about fiddling with that anymore when you actually make the robot. Let's see. So who is going to? Because Barry and so Barry wants to go and do his own thing. So who is going to meet Dapper's contact? Who is going where?
Well, I'm going to the convention thing.
Easily done.
Oh, before the night ends, I will have taken a couple of videos of Ankh's, like, primary functions. Like him going into defensive mode and offensive mode and the machine gun popping out of the top and whatnot.
See that? He's showing off for his girl.
Maybe
also
get
the
a...
tech-
Well,
and
no,
also the
I'm
tech
taking
convention.
videos. I'm taking videos so I can get a grant or maybe get, commissioned to build one.
Yeah, I figured. I was gonna say that right after. I'm like, he's gonna show off for his girl, and then he's gonna go into the tech convention, get a grant, and be like, "Look what I got."
Thank you. I'll take that patent.
That would be interesting if you actually like try to get a patent and you have to work with a mega corporation, because companies don't want individuals having the patents; they want them to have the patents. So.
Exactly, and I've got a high asking price because they are handmade.
2 collars.
A solid
trying-
20 cents.
What I'm trying to do is pull a white collar crime here. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, if I can get a grant or a patent for it, that's what we're going with.
I mean, you could get a patent there. You can register that. If you have to bring Unk with you for it, but like his schematics. I guess the patents work.
Well,
but you could do it.
Of course, I have his schematics.
You could get an actual patent made for that at the convention.
Nice. I'm gonna corner the market and make an army.
Okay, so who is going to meet Dapper's contact? Is anybody going to go with Barry? Make sure that he's not going to OD in an alleyway somewhere?
I think what we should do is give Barry.
Sometime.
I think we should give Barry like a transponder, like rigged up to like his vitals, just so that we can keep an eye on him.
I mean, if anything, Oid can just go with Barry, and me and Bonus go to the contact.
You're sure?
Yeah, if you want.
You're sure the two of you can handle it?
Do you know who you're talking to?
That is true. You guys are like twice as strong as me and Oid.
Yeah,
so
the two
do you
DPSs
guys
of the group, so they'll probably be fine.
Do you guys need Ankh? Like, do you want Ankh to go with you?
Ambivalent.
Meh.
No.
I mean, it'd help you get your patent more, I guess, if you took them. But it's
A
whatever.
fair point. All right, cool. So then I'll just take Ankh with me then. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I haven't actually planned this new mission yet, so we're gonna not do that first. Instead, I think we should do Barry and Oid, because that's honestly what everybody's waiting for anyway, isn't it? So, Oid, are you gonna make any preparations before you accompany Barry on this, or are you just gonna like go with the flow?
Take a defibrillator. Take a defibrillator.
I'm gonna make sure I have another dose of Narcan. And beyond that, I think it's just gonna be letting the Omnissiah take the wheel.
Okay. Let the machine god take the wheel with your Narcan and your gun and your Barry. Alright. So in that case, yeah, Barry wakes up. He showers. He still kind of smells like vomit, but isn't quite as overpowering as it was the day before.
He can't smell it.
Well, no, Oid can, but it doesn't have an effect on him. Like, he has olfactory sensors, but he can turn them on and off at will because he's a robot. So, you know, he has the bonus of not having to worry about always smelling him. You know, it's like a do I want to sort of deal.
Did Barry sleep in those same clothes?
Of course. He was unconscious, bro. He was literally stewing in his own filth. He ruined that 5-star bed, bro. Had to burn that thing when the room service comes to clean it out. It's gonna be so bad.
Boyd's is just nice and made all uniform like, and just vomit on the bed next to his.
And then Barry's is like destroyed. It looks like a grenade went off. But yeah, so in that case, you know, Barry gets ready, and as he goes to leave, Wade, you know, you follow him out. Turns around and he's like, "You're not gonna follow me everywhere, you know that, right?"
And I go, "Oh, but I do. This is literally in my job description."
And Barry frowns. Well, you can't tell he has the helmet on, but he frowns. And he's like, "Oh, come on, man! You're killing my buzz here."
I'm just going to quirk an eyebrow and be like, "Oh, well, if you want your buzz killed, I can certainly do that as well. But not the purpose of my being here."
Oh yeah, who are you disguised as for this?
That's a good point. Why are you something wrong? The Bean? Your intern in Persona?
Probably. Actually, who did I go to the banquet as? I'm pretty sure it wasn't something wrong.
No, I
think
think
it was
you
Bean.
went as the Bean, yeah.
Alright, then I'll be Bean.
Okay. So yeah, okay, yeah. So you're. Okay, yeah. What were you
Don the
saying?
bean.
Down the bean. So he's like, well, all right, fine, whatever. Like, but just don't
Don't cramp my style.
yeah, don't cramp my style, bro. You creepy
And I'm
trench
gonna
coat
be
wearing
like,
bro.
what style?
You're like, what? It's like I'm on that like punk scene, heavy metal, fight the man.
Which one?
All of them.
What man? I see no man.
He is
Bro,
Barry is a misandrist. He hates men.
You you should disguise as Barry himself.
You should disguise
That's
as
funny.
Barry.
Bro, that's the ultimate.
Yes.
I have
I
oil
mean, I'll
race
just
in
take a
Barry's
disguise
stead.
because why not at this point?
God. Alright, so then in that case, since you're not going to leave Barry alone, Barry just accepts your presence as a necessary evil. And he goes down, and he goes to get in his car, and you get in his car with him. He tries to drive away before you can get in, but you're too fast because you're a robot and you're on drugs, so he can't react faster than you. And then he drives around the city, and he goes to one of the like open air like market areas, or like all these like different stalls and stuff. And he parks the car. And he's like, "All right, you stay here. I'm gonna go and meet some buddies. I'll be back in like an hour."
Negative.
Okay.
Okay. Do you not follow him, or do
You should tell him.
stay in the car?
You should tell him.
I mean, I
Alright.
follow him.
You should be like, all right, but give me your keys.
Wow. Barry would never drive drunk. He only drives high. The difference. Okay, so he's like, all right, yeah, wait here. I'll be back in an hour, and then he walks away, and then a minute later, you get out of the car. You follow him. Do you change disguises when you follow him?
I'll turn into like, not John Doe because I have John Smith as a disguise. So I'll turn into John Doe. They're legally distinct.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so yes, you become John Doe, a random civilian, random Chicagoan, and okay, are you gonna try to follow him stealthily, or are you just gonna like follow him, like very obviously, I'm a random man who is on your heels the entire time, Mr. Barry. Don't question him.
I'm just going to
I'll
say,
do it
please.
stealthily.
Okay, roll me 1d10 and add your agility stat, and I will roll 1d10 and add Barry's perception to see if he can see you. Probably not. He rolled a 3 on the dice. Total of 8. No, total
Well,
of 9.
let's see. It's entirely possible that I do worse than him.
True.
That's
I
one.
got a 7 on the die.
Oh yeah, no.
Hey.
You definitely beat him. So you follow him into his market at a distance. He looks around like he's paranoid of something, but he didn't see you. And he talks to a couple of people at different stalls. He buys some stuff, some like produce, buys some glow sticks and stuff. Off of like one of the market stalls, buys like a candy bar, and then he ducks into like an abandoned looking building on the edge of the marketplace with like boards on the windows and stuff like that. So yeah, do you follow him into the
Alright.
Incriminating.
abandoned building?
I'm going to do a quick, like, scope out of the scene before I, just go in.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Alright. Oh, Nettie.
Oh, Oh, okay. Um, so a natty gets you several things. First of all, there is definitely a group of hooded figures stalking Barry from a distance. You pick up on that pretty quickly. Um, yeah, hooded, literally like they're wearing cloaks and they're just following after him, like a dozen yards back, kind of parallel to where you are, basically. But they're like a row of stalls over, keeping an eye on him, from a distance. So you clock them, and then you also notice that when Barry opens his door to this abandoned building and goes inside, um, you see several shadowy shapes that look like people in whatever room he walks into before the door closes. That's number 2. Number 3, looking at the building, it is 3 stories high. It looks to have been probably some kind of abandoned apartment building or a restaurant with apartments above it, something like that. You aren't quite sure. But looking at some of the, how should I say, decorations, I guess, the greebles on the building, there is an awful lot of wiring and antenna and electrical dishes attached to the roof of this building. And that's kind of weird for an abandoned building to have a bunch of electrical cables running to it. And then after Barry goes into the building, the cloaked figures seem to stop and they start talking amongst themselves, but you can't hear what they're saying.
They're talking about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
What? Well, anyways, am
Do
I?
you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Just rock up and I'm in the spiritual church. How can I help you?
Do you have a moment to speak about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Honestly, if I could probably switch to a spherical church dude, and just
yeah.
You got the gay priest.
You do have the gay priest.
True, but do I want the gay priest to be seen in Chicago of all places?
Yeah, no one knows who he is.
Well, maybe if somebody does, they'll be like, "Hey, gay priest guy, you were in Chicago?" And he's like, "No, I was in Ryanstown." And they're like, "You were in two places at once." And then next thing you know, he's gonna get black bagged by the spherical church for being a heretic or something.
What do you mean? He could just... Well, he's dead, right?
No, the gay priest's boss is the one you guys shot. He's dead.
Didn't you take a copy of his face?
I think I also have his boss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mine. Let me see. Yeah, because you impersonated the gay guy. Yeah, so yeah, you do have the boss, who is dead.
Yeah, so just take the boss's identity.
I guess I could do that.
Or you could be Flavius.
I don't think that would go well. Flavius is a bit more famous, I think.
Just rock up and be like, "Oh, it's me, Flavius," and they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's Flavius guy. Let him inside." And they'll do some magic for us, Flavius, and you just can make a card trick, and they're like, "That's gay, Flavius."
And then
really
Flavius
lame.
is there.
Yeah, he's like, I see. I am pretty hot, aren't I?
Come. But yeah, you could probably go in as the gay priest. I don't think Barry's part of the spherical church.
That's where you're wrong. He's actually Flavius.
We haven't seen his face yet.
Exactly.
Well, in any case, uh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
I didn't know we were playing Friday Night Funkin'.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. In any case, I guess I will, do a little loop do, walk into a corner and then around a corner, do a little disguise change into a priest.
You can be
Okay.
a cyber nun.
Sorry, well, they're the assassins though, so they sees a cyber nun, they're like, oh god, who here has been labeled a heretic and he's gonna get schwacked.
You!
It's you. It was me, Barry.
It was me, Barry.
You changing this into the cyber, not cyber nun, the priest. Are doing the gay priest or the gay priest's boss?
Probably gay priest, because I think it'd be public knowledge that you got swacked.
Well, yeah, I mean, you did literally shoot him, like, on television. So, Ryanstown, at the very least, knows that man is very dead, yes. Missing a head, in fact. Okay, so you're the gay priest. So you kind of walk around the stall and stuff, kind of duck behind some boxes and transform. You know, Autobots roll out, you know how it is. You notice that the hooded group of, like, 3 figures that were following Barry, they kind of finish the little discussion. And they go into another building that should be like a pachinko gallery, basically. That's like right next to the abandoned building where Barry went in.
All right. Well, I will go over to the building Barry went into, and I don't know. There's like an open door.
Now, there isn't an open door, but Barry just like walked up and threw it open, so it's supposedly unlocked, or unlocked rather.
Well, then I'll, hop over. No, I guess just, knock on the door, be like, do you have time for your Lord and Savior?
The great mottos.
Okay, so you walk up, knock on the door, and after a couple of seconds, the door does open, and it is this kind of like barely dressed guy. He's got like a skinny like sleeveless t-shirt on. He's got like boxers on. His hair's a mess. He's got big bags under his eyes. He has a big glow stick in his mouth. And he looks definitely blasted. And he opens the door, and you're like, "Oh, time for Lord and Saviors." And he's like, "What? What? Who are you? What are you doing here?"
I came for the party.
And I'm going to be like, my name is, XYZ ABCD. Yes, there really is my birth certificate. Don't ask.
You just provide a copy of your birth certificate to prove it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
here
say,
for the party.
my name is whatever, and I'm here to tell you about, things and stuff, etc., etc.
And the guy kind of like looks at you and he blinks and he's like, "Look, man, we don't take solicitors here, all right? So, take your weird hoodoo voodoo nonsense elsewhere, all right, bud?" And then he goes to close the door.
I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to give you everything. I'm gonna give him a really cheesy smile.
Just open your jacket, and it's all drugs.
Yeah, it is. I have.
Oh wait, you
20
have
shots of
the
blood.
18-wheeler.
But if you are looking to be sold something, and I'll pull out a little something like maybe what form does Lightyear take?
Light year is opium, basically. It's synthetic opium, so it's like
Baggy.
a leaf. Yeah, it's a baggie of like weeds, basically. Like
And all,
the little
you know,
like flowers, basically, of the opium plant.
so yeah, and I'll follow up I'm looking to give you everything with. But if you are looking to be sold something, and I'll pull a little baggie out of my, pocket, and be like,
I should
eyebrow
call up the
raise.
18-wheeler.
Yeah, beep beep beep. So you flash the drugs, and the guy's eyes widen a little bit, and he's kind of like, I see, all right, yeah, I'm catching what you're throwing, buddy, all right. And he kind of like looks over his shoulder, and he calls out to people in the room, and he's like, we got a new friend. He's a man of the cloth, and the people in the room like laugh and stuff. And you hear some people like, let him in, and then the guy at the door is like, all right, buddy, come on. And he opens the door wider, and you are led into literally a crack den.
Literally cracked in. So
Literally
I'm
a
not
crack
surprised.
Yeah. So you open into this main room, and this looks like it used to be like a restaurant or like a bar or something that they've converted into like the living room of a crack den. There are like tables and chairs, people playing cards, people watching TV or playing on their phones. They're like little like the booths have been converted into like hookah areas basically, or like where people to do drugs. The bar isn't tended by anyone, but there are still bottles of alcohol out and like glasses and everywhere and stuff. It smells like literally every drug known to mankind, basically. And you can also see the electrical wires continue like along the floor and up a set of stairs on the far side of the room from you. And you do see Barry. Barry is lounging on one of the couches with a bunch of scantily clad girls around him, doing drugs, as he does.
Cool.
And the people in the room were all kind of like, "Wait," when they see a literal priest walk into a crack den. Very strange evening for these people.
Best
But
thing. I don't think that's strange at all. I think right
The
on.
opposite of strange.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been many occasions where priests have like drug-filled orgies and stuff, but those usually happen like at church, not in somebody else's crack den.
Gotta be, holy cracked den, sanctified.
Yeah, that hell of the ground really adds something special to the narcotics. Tell you what. Hear that angelic choir singing, So you can make me additionally. You can make me a perception check, my good man.
Ooh, a perception check.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a 6.
It's a 6. All right, that still passes. You notice, on all of the, kilo wrapped, kilo-sized bricks of, space cocaine and the smoke leaf and the other light they have here, there is a very particular logo on it. One that you don't necessarily recognize, but it stands out to you. The Greek theater, the two masks, the sad face and the happy face symbol,
Yeah.
It's that, but both faces are smiling, and they both look super blasted. Their pupils are super dilated, and their grins are unnaturally wide. And there is a big F in very fancy calligraphy stamped over the top of the two faces in like nice bright like regal purple coloring, and the faces are white and black.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Not at all predictable.
Well, I think for the time being, I'm just going to,
Take a
hang out,
sample of it and start selling it for
carouse,
yourself.
Okay, you're gonna
Be-
carouse.
friendly and such.
Okay. Are you actively going to try to sell some product?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely will be able to sell everything you brought with you, basically. Um, yeah.
And
These people
more.
are crack fiends, literally. So, they will buy your drugs. No problem doing that. They sell you out after like an hour or two. And Barry is there. And after probably like a couple of hours of, smoking and drinking and partying and stuff downstairs, Barry, kind of gets up and he makes his way upstairs. And you can see on the wall there is a sign, a neon sign that says VR Den.
Hmm.
Would I have seen a VR den before, or is this new to me?
You know that they exist in several capacities. There are different levels of quality VR dens. There are whole companies dedicated to VR dens. The best ones, like the Dream Incorporated ones, are like sauning, like tanning beds, but they're like VR beds, where they're like full, like total immersion, pretty much like jacking into the Matrix, but like you don't need the jacks to do it, basically. But most VR is just like the headsets and the controllers. Maybe you get like the haptic feedback suit or the fancy like movement pad and stuff where you can walk around and stuff. You also know VR is incredibly addictive because the memories you can relive or the memories you can buy, the games you can play, are all so much better than actual life that people get addicted to their imaginary lives and never want to leave. So they don't. You haven't been in one because you're a robot. You don't need VR gear to go in the Matrix. You can just plug yourself into a computer. But you've seen them around. And there are also illegal VR dens that offer their services for cheaper, but they are lower quality usually and usually less reliable. But they're, cheap for those VR fiends.
Alrighty, well, I suppose I could, just be next to someone and ask, oh, what's it take to get into, like the special place,
So you're gonna ask around about the VR den?
Yeah.
Okay, well, people tell you, they're like, oh yeah, that's, oh god, I need a hacker name. They tell you you can just go up, like, whenever you want, and when you get up there, there'll be, like, the door and stuff, and you go in.
It's
and
the Aquarius Lounge.
And you can just, like, talk to the guy who runs it, and you pay him, and by the hour, basically, or you give him your, like, account number, so you can just automatically, he'll bill you. And then, you can do the VR stuff. It isn't like a VIP or anything. It's just a side hustle for the guy that runs this crack den, basically.
It's actually a pretty good name for it, the Aquarius Lounge.
That would be if it was like an official place. It's literally a crack den. So, it has no name. It's just a VR den.
But a legal crack den could be called the Aquarius Lounge.
Yes.
Well, in any case, I guess I will just, do a hop and a skip and a flip and a whip and a into the crack den. Or VR lounge, rather. I'm already in the crack den.
You're already in the crack den.
Yeah.
You've been in the crack den. Okay. So you walk upstairs, and sure enough, it is this kind of like apartment style, like long hallway with a bunch of doors at it. And in the middle of the hallway, there is like a cashier's counter with a heavily chromed out guy, probably like late 20s, early 30s. Part of the back of his head is entirely metal, and there's like a dozen wires plugged into the back of his skull, and he appears to be experiencing VR and real life at the same time, which is very rare and very dangerous if your brain can't handle it, because you could have a seizure and die. So this guy's obviously experienced, what he's doing, because he is able to withstand that much sensory information. So he is like, his eyes are like floating around, he's like groaning and moving and twitching and stuff, despite also looking at you. Very, very unsettling. But you walk up, and he's like, what can I do for you, buddy?
And I'll walk up and I go, I'm looking to get a taste of what you're selling up here,
And he's like, of course. He's like, well, the first half hour is always free. And he kind of winks at you.
All right. And I'll go, well, what about the second?
You're like, oh, you gotta pay for that, I'm afraid.
How much, perchance?
Oh, money. Probably, let's see, well, per hour. I'll say probably like $50. Actually, no, probably less than that. Probably like $25 for a half an hour, $50 for an hour. Because it might be cheaper than a actual VR den, so.
Alright. Well, I will, I guess, take my free half hour, and then I'll decide after that.
Okay. So then he's like, all right. Well, in that case, and he kind of like he head twitches, and there's like a brrr sound, and one of the doors down the hallway kind of swings open on its own, and he's like, all right, there you go, buddy. He's like, you aren't my usual clientele, but I'm not complaining.
I'll, do a hop, a scoop, and a jump. And see if I can spot Derry on my way down.
Okay. Make me a perception check, I guess?
Ooh, a perception check?
Perception check?
9.
9. Okay, that's definitely enough. So you hear, as you kind of walk past, you kind of listen in on the doors and stuff, hone in your robotic senses, and you can definitely hear Barry like talking to himself through one of the doors, the one next to the one that you are assigned, and he's talking about he's talking to himself and being like, hey ladies, I'm the champion of the MDRR, I've been on all the news and stuff, wanna hang out or whatever. He seems to be god awful at talking to people, but it's VR, he does what he wants.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think I would have expected him to be good at talking to people.
And you also hear him be like, you girls do crack? Like, even though you being the charisma character of the party, just like cringe to yourself, being like, oh god, how did this guy get a job? Like, how does he do what he does? I don't understand. And as you go to walk away, you hear a like a horrible like pop and a fizzling sound and like sparking sounds coming from inside, followed by the sound of Barry like having a seizure.
Uh, so am I like walking down a hallway
Yeah.
away from the dude with the wires in his head?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna turn back to the dude and I'm gonna be like, yo, I think you got some faulty machinery over here.
And he like, not looking at you. He just kind of calls back and he's like, "Faulty machinery? Nah, man. My stuff is guaranteed safe, or your money back."
Uh,
Then I want my money back.
I guess then I'm going to just step aside to Barry's booth and I'm gonna pull open the door and see if he's like actually just dead.
Okay. So you go to open the door, and it is locked with some kind of mechanical lock. You can see, like electronic lock.
All right. Then I'm gonna proceed down to my booth, and once I, sit down, I'm going to call it Cairo.
Okay, yeah, so you walk down the hallway and
Yo,
you
what's up?
pop into this. Basically, each of these doors is what used to be an apartment, but the whole apartment has been converted into like a VR space. So there's no furniture, flat floors. There is a single computer, I guess one wall, and then like the wiring and the headset, stuff like that, are all in the middle of the room as well, along with like an ATM and stuff in the hallway for you to get money to pay for it. So you walk into the room, you close the door behind you, and then you call Cairo.
Yo, what's up?
I may or may
At
not
this
be
point,
here.
You're
at
in-
this
you're at the
point,
convention at
I'm
this
getting
point,
ready
so.
for the. Oh, I'm at the convention.
Yeah, probably. You be like on your way there, if not already there.
We're just getting there.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? I'm at the convention. What's up?
Oh, well, are you busy? I may or may not need your help to make sure Barry doesn't die.
We're just getting to the convention hall, so yeah.
Ah, I see. Unfortunate.
What do you need help with?
Hacking.
I can try and walk you through it.
Sick. I just need to break into a VR headset.
Okay. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to hook yourself in, but once you're in, can I make an intelligence check to see if I know what I'm doing, or like how to guide him?
Yeah, sure. Maybe an intelligence check.
All right. Okay. Intelligence of 8. First nat 10 of the day. Let's go.
All right. Well, with that net 10, you definitely know there are a few pieces of information you need to know before you can help anybody. First of all, you need to know if this building has a matrix environment associated with it, aka, can you as a hacker hack it like you hacked in Egypt, or is it just as simple as plugging into a computer and typing in a password? Second of all, you need to know if it is a closed circuit system, i.e., if it does not have access to internet, if it's if like a Faraday cage, or if it's like contained, or if it has internet access. If it has internet access, you would know if you yourself could get to a computer or jack in somewhere, you could probably hack it yourself remotely.
Okay. I'll ask. Oid, do you know if there's internet access there? Like, is there an open network?
Let me see. Is that something I can just figure out from being in the VR room?
Well,
or would I actually have to go look for,
you have an interface, right?
True, I suppose.
Yeah.
So then you should be able to check if there's an open network there.
Okay. Well, easily enough done. Yeah, you can, plug into the computer and stuff. There is an internet signal, hence the satellite dishes and antennas on the roof of the building. You don't
Okay.
know it is password protected, so it isn't like an open network, but it does have internet access.
Can I send him my files to try and crack the password?
Well, the computer that's in his room is hooked up to the internet of the building.
Okay. Okay, because he's gonna want to go into the Matrix through that computer. So I'm going to send him like the files and stuff for like my like basically the things that I have that help me in hacking.
Oh, the programs?
Yeah, I'm going to send him copies of my programs.
Okay, that will take a significant amount of time. But
Well, at the least, I want to send him the file for the Pharaoh's Curse.
I mean, you could probably. I mean, that's like a complex program. That would take several minutes to send, but you could do it.
All right, so I'll tell Oid. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna send you one of the copies of my file. Do not open it once I send it to you. Instead, transfer it over to the computer that you are at right now.
Okay. Easily enough done.
All right. I'll start the transfer for one of my uses of Pharaoh's Curse.
Okay, that will take a while, but you can do it.
All right. Should be there. Should finish downloading in a couple of minutes. So, good luck.
Okie dokie.
Once you get the file, open it on that computer. The virus will upload to that secured network, and it will crash everything on the network.
So as you're kind of waiting for this transfer to happen and stuff, you hear the dude out in the hallway be like, what the heck, what, and he you hear him like yelling and groaning in pain and stuff, and you hear him like move around, and his footsteps get closer to your booth and stuff, and you hear him go and open the door to Barry's booth, his room, and then at that point he's like, oh god, what the heck is going on? And you hear more like fizzling and popping and sparking.
Was that Barry?
I think I'm gonna go check.
Yeah, please do. Inform me of what you
At which
find.
point I step out of my booth. And I'm going to, I guess, check the hallway.
All right. The dude with all the wires in his head is on the ground, and there are like sparks coming out of the wire ports and stuff in the back of his head. There are sparks coming out of his ears. There's blood shooting out of his eyeballs and his ears and his nose and his mouth. And the wires that were plugged into his brain are also all fried, like they are actively on fire or like steaming. He is very dead.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
Is Barry dead though? Is the question.
Well, in that case, I think I'm just gonna leave that guy. I'm gonna just clock the lock on Barry's pod.
Okay. Yeah, the guy did open the door before, or like lock it before he perished. So yeah, it is a little bit ajar. And you push it open, and you see in the middle of the room is Barry Bullet, lying there having a seizure with a VR headset over his eyes, and the controllers and stuff wrapped around his wrists and everything. The headset is like sparking and fizzling, and the wires built into the ceiling are sparking and fizzling. and the computer in the corner is going haywire. It's chaos. The lights are flickering on and off.
Hey, Oid, what are you seeing in there? What's going on, buddy?
An emergency, and that's when I start trying to extricate our star driver from his imminent death.
Okay.
What exactly is happening?
I will just describe to Cairo the scene as I see it, whilst I try and pull him out of the. Actually, before I pull him out of the VR headset, since Cairo, this is his deal, I'll ask him: are there any safety precautions for like an emergency eject?
Time for an intelligence check.
Yep.
That is an 8.
An 8. You know that. Well, it depends on how he's in VR. If it's just a normal headset, like one that we have in our modern age, which it is, then you just remove it and it should be fine. But if he's plugged into like a more serious contraption, then like how you take a bunch of damage if you get yanked out of the matrix forcefully. It'd be like
Okay.
that.
I'll ask: is he physically hooked up to anything, or is it just a headset?
Can I tell?
He doesn't appear to be hooked up to anything mechanical. However, there is an IV in his arm with some kind of drug in it, you would imagine.
Okay. Take off the headset. That is the first thing that you need to do. Take off the headset, and then, well, actually, yeah, no. Take off the headset. Just start by taking off the headset, because whatever's being injected into him could stabilize him at this point. Honestly, it's better that he has the drugs in him to not keep him sober. So just take the headset off at this point.
Will do.
All right. Make me a strength check. And you might think,
no.
That's weird, Dakota. You're right, it is weird for you to have to make a check to remove somebody's headset.
Oh no. Does he have his helmet on?
No.
Oh, okay. So Barry's vulnerable.
Barry is vulnerable.
Well, thankfully, I have actually been doing decently today.
Nice.
That is going to be a 10.
Oh,
Nice.
Big
Nice.
man, big man. All right,
Nice.
yes, you walk
Big
up.
man on campus.
You go to remove the headset by like taking like the straps from the back and like pulling it off the front that way, and it won't come off his face. And you're like, that's really bad, probably. So you yank a bit harder, and you hear like, and you're like, oh god.
Oh, this is skin fry.
You're like, that's really gonna be awful. So then you're just like, all right, like a band-aid, and you just, it's like rip it off of his face. And that's when you notice that the like screen for the VR headset exploded and filled his face with glass. And it melted part of the skin around the glass and into the headset and all this stuff. He is pretty darn messed up.
Oh,
alive.
No.
He's alive, probably. I mean, you don't know. Well, I guess he's seizing, so I guess he's still moving in that sense. His eyes are... One of them is totally destroyed. Like, there's just, like, a buckshot's worth of glass in where his eyeball used to be. The other one is frantically flittering around, wide open, super dilated pupil, freaking out. And he is not responsive. But alive, probably?
Alright, Oid, did you get the headset off?
Yes. And it's at this
Alright.
point, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to tell Cairo to inform the boss, Frank or whatever, that we need a new driver. I'm going
Alright.
to...
What's his status?
Bad. Like, you'll see. You'll see.
No.
Eventually.
No.
You'll see.
Bad. I'm going to... Is there, like, an ambulance that can be called?
You
Do I
can
have, like, you know...
Yeah, you can call LSSI and they'll come pick him up.
Yeah, LSSI's number. that
Yeah,
can
you
be
got
like, yeah, I need like a pickup.
This man's got a VR headset glued to his face. I need some help. Yeah, you can call them.
This man is in the Matrix.
All right. While he's doing that, I'll call Bonus.
And the
Tell
third thing,
him to tell Frank to get our secondary driver on deck.
All right. So yeah, you call a Bonus. You add Bonus to the line to the conference call, and Bonus is like, "Oh, all right." And turns to you hear him turning around, and he's like, Mr. Fuel. Apparently, you need to find a new driver." And Frank's like, "What?" he's been here for less than a day.
Give him the phone. Give him the phone. Give him the phone.
Bonus.
Bonus.
Like, well, it's in my face mask. I can put you on speaker.
Yes, please do that.
All right, you hear him hit a button, and boop.
All right, so it ain't looking too good. I guess he quite literally had a headset glued to his face. So, yeah.
And Frank's like, "Is he alive? He better be alive."
Hard to tell. Oid, is he alive?
barely, but I think.
Oh, there's your answer.
Then
Yeah.
Frank's like, "Well, he better be alive so I can kill him myself."
Not a good idea, honestly. He might be incapacitated and in the hospital for a while.
Frank's like, "I'll call Xanthorpe, see if we can get Barry settled out, fixed up, whatever."
Idea, if Barry isn't good to drive for this next leg of the race, we might want to have Fayth take over.
Frank's like, "That's the last resort."
Idea.
That's the last resort. If I can get
I'm just
Barry,
saying.
a new eye or whatever, a new face, then I'll do that. He's like, "I'll call Xanthorpe," and he just pulls out his phone and begins frantically calling up Xanthorpe.
All right, so this has happened.
So
Everybody keep on your toes. Someone's obviously after us.
that was actually, yes. Speaking of, there are a couple more things on my list. The third thing is that I need to check what's actually going through this IV. And the fourth is that I need to amend my call to Cairo and be like, if any of you are free, I'd like some backup, because there were like a group of hooded figures tailing Barry here, so
All right.
I don't know what that was.
Well, we're
Probably isn't good.
well, we're at the convention, so Bonus, would you like to take over?
Bonus is like, "Well, me and Knox are currently we're pulling up to the suit shop now, but if you want us to turn around, we can get there in like a half an hour."
Oid, honestly, it would probably just be smartest to go with the LSSI guys and make sure
Yeah.
that Barry is well taken care of.
Yeah, the LSSI, normal LSSI, they don't have guns. They're just an ambulance crew. But maybe if you talk to Xanthor or something, he could get them to send like armored guys to show up.
That would be smart, yes.
Also, the drug in the IV that he has is steer, the super specialized, very, very expensive and very rare combat drug. Also kind of suspicious that this guy just has it here, but
Interesting.
That also means that Barry is experiencing all this pain slowed down, which is probably insanely torturous. I'm gonna be really honest.
By the way, if I was you, I'd get that IV drip out of his arm.
So yeah, IV, it's not helping him at all, so that's getting schwacked.
And then give
I'm
him
not
one of
gonna
those
Narcan him
magic
right
shots.
now because I feel like that would only worsen his
Yeah.
condition.
Probably.
Okay, so you just take the IV out, easily done. Yank it out of his arm.
Is
and
he
then,
actively screaming?
No, he is seizing. So his jaw is like clenched shut. He's groaning. I mean, probably would be yelling if he could yell, but he can't open his mouth. So.
yeah. And after that point, once I get confirmation that, either your boy Xanthorpe is sending LSSI or, just gonna get the regular crew, then I guess pack up your boy and I start moving him towards. Actually, no. Probably be better if I just kept him still here so he doesn't, become worse.
Okay, so how are you going to? Is
Honestly,
somebody calling Xanthorpe to tell him to send actual LSSI?
I'll add him to the call.
Okay, so you add him to the call, and Xanthorpe's like, "What? I'm getting several phone calls at once. What the hell's happening here? What's going on? Somebody talk to me."
Okay, Xanthorpe, send the big bad LSSI to Oid's position. Serious Avengers level threat here.
Xanthorpe's like, "What? The else is you all right, Oid? What's going on?"
Barry.
I'm
is
fine.
not
Barry's
so
not.
good.
He's like, "Ah."
So
of course it's
yeah,
Barry."
Avengers level threat.
Like, all right, fine, whatever. And like, I'll get on that. And then you hear him pull out like another cell phone, and you hear him be like, "Yes, this is Braden Xanthorpe. Yes, I'm a platinum level member. Like, yes, no, this call isn't for me. Yes, I understand this breaks protocol. Look, I pay you people enough money to buy a whole branch of your company, so shut up and do what I want." And then he's like, "Thank you, Christ." And then you hear him hang up. And he's like, "Bureaucrats." He's like, "Anyway, you should be getting help in like a couple of minutes." So they are
Sick.
sending the big guns, an extraction team, so. And then Xanthorpe's like, "Why is Frank calling me now?" He hangs up the phone with you guys, and he picks up the phone for talk to Frank. And as soon as that happens, Oid, you hear movement back out in the hallway, down the hallway, by the stairs.
I will, I guess, peek around the corner.
All right, you peek around.
Hey,
the corner.
Oid, is everything okay?
Absolutely not.
Nope. But I'm not gonna say shit right now. I'm going to be silent.
Okay, so you
Fair
peek your head
enough.
around the corner, and you see one of those cloaked figures is currently like at the kind of quote unquote cashier's desk near the stairwell, and he has like one of those own security 3D printable untraceable SMGs in his hand. Well, it's a big SMG, not like an Uzi. It's like an MP5 almost, closer to something like that, or like an MP7. And he's got that, and he sees you peek your head around, and I mean you can't see this guy's face because of the black hood over himself, but he definitely sees you peek your head around the doorway, and he goes to like aim the gun at you, and you quick duck back into the room, and he's like, "Hey, get out of here! Whatever, come with your hands up or whatever."
This is the point where I take out my hidden gun and I just wait with it aimed at the door.
Okay. So you wait in the room. You draw your little holdout pistol, and the goon outside is like, "Come on, man, I'm not here for you." come out.
And I'll go. Actually, I'm not sure I trust what this dude is saying. So I'm, in fact, not going to stick my head out.
Okay. In that case, then you hear the guy kind of slowly begin approaching the door, and you hear the sounds of like a radio chatter, but you can't make out what they're saying. Do you have anything you want to do before this guy gets to the doorway, basically?
No, question mark. I don't think there's much I can do.
Okay. So in that case, you just kind of wait there, in the middle of the room, training your gun on the doorway, and you hear the dude keep walking, and you hear him stop, in the hallway, and then, an object is thrown into the doorway from the hallway, and it bounces against the door frame and it rolls into the middle of the room next to you and Barry. You look at it and you're very confused. It looks like a corn cob.
God damn it.
No!
Oh no!
So I need you to make me an agility check, to jump out of the way of this grenade. Is what this is. This is a frag grenade.
Oh no! It's the oh no!
It's the Colonels. They're here.
4.
4. I think that still passes, though. You have a pretty good agility. So you.
What are we doing about Barry, though?
Yeah, so do you want to jump on Barry's body, or do you just want to like screw Barry and just jump out of the way?
Are you willing to give up Barry as a person? Are you willing to sacrifice Barry?
Yeah.
No.
We're kind of getting paid to protect him, but personally, yes.
Well, personal feelings aside.
Okay.
Actually, is there a check I can make to displace this before it goes off?
Like kick it out of a window?
I would
Or
say
just
that
kick it back outside.
the agility check could be for that as well. Yeah.
Then
So,
I'm
yeah,
going
not
to
just-
swat it back into the hall.
Okay, so this rolls back in, and you're like, uh-oh. So you just kind of dive, and you slide across the floor, and you shoot your arms out, and you hit it, and it flies back out into the hallway. You hear the guy go, oh god, and then pop. But like a bunch of pops, like a bunch of popcorn. I have to now roll 5d100 for this guy, who is like point blank hit with a frag grenade. So, let's see.
Oh, but by the way, do I still have the lineup with Cairo?
Yes.
Yeah.
so you just okay. So Cairo, Oid, Nox, all of us just hear, this like talking discussion between Oid and this guy. And then y'all hear something land near Oid. You hear Oid freak out and dive on the ground. And then you hear somebody yell, "Oh no!" And then a bunch of like popcorn sounds. But,
Hey,
like,
buddy.
really loud popcorn
What's
sounds.
going on over there? Like, everything good?
So what ends up happening is you knock the grenade, the corn cob, into the hallway, and then you like roll out of the doorway, out of view of the hallway, like against the wall, and you hear these really like thundering popcorn popping sounds as like a bunch of holes get ripped in the walls, in the floors, just poof. Blood sprays everywhere. That guy, for reference, took 380 damage from that grenade.
Sick.
So yeah, he is shredded like
Very
Swiss
dead.
cheese. Yeah, so he gets blown away, blown against the wall. The popcorn shreds holes in the walls, floors, ceilings. Dust gets kicked up everywhere. Blood goes everywhere. The guy's body collapses into the hallway. The dead hacker man who used to run this den is also, his body also gets riddled with popcorn shrapnel. On the other line, you'll hear this big explosion, all these pinging and sparking sounds, all of the dust getting kicked up, the body hitting the ground, weight rolling away. It sounds like an action movie, but like an audiobook action movie.
Sick.
So yeah, that's what happens. This big kaboom as the corn grenade goes off.
All right. And then I frown. I'm going to peek around the corner once more.
Okay, you peek around the corner. You do hear from like downstairs, you hear people like screaming or like freaking out. You're like, oh my god, what was that sound? You know, people yelling around, moving around. You don't see anybody in the hallway, but you do hear commotion downstairs.
Have the Cornish just decided to shoot up the entire place?
Don't jinx yourself.
All right. Well, at this point, I guess it's time to hold out. Although I am going to venture into the hall, I think, to see if anything survived on that dude. See if he has another thingamabob, then.
Another corn cob grenade.
Yeah.
I would say probably not. And his gun didn't survive. That got shredded as well. But yeah, he is. Well, you actually go like check on him, and see like the corn kernels in the corn cob. When it exploded, you figured that like how it probably works is the corn kernels unpopped are hollow, and the detonation makes the corn kernels individually expand incredibly quick and then explode. So all the little white bits of corn are lodged in this guy. He looks like he got cheese grated. Basically, he looks real bad. And you can also tell that like now that he's dead, his cloak is shredded and has been like blown off of him. He is wearing like black combat gear, like a combat vest, you know, combat fatigues, combat boots. But he has like a patch on his vest that's like a yellow outline with a white interior of this like circular patch with a big corn cob on it. He looks like a professional mercenary.
I think
It's the children of the corn.
Dun dun.
I'm just going to say into like the phone, under assault, and then I'm just gonna shut up for the
Under assault.
foreseeable future.
Okay. So you all just hear that after this big explosion, nothing for a solid minute, and then just assault. Great. Not ominous at all.
Okay, well, I'm like at least an hour away.
Yeah, we're all pretty far away.
So can you handle this, or
Time will tell.
like are you just hunkering down right now and hoping that you get out of this alive, or can you handle?
I know for sure there's at least several other dudes. I'm not gonna make a move until they come to me.
Smart. Okay, then you've got this. Plus, you've got LSSI on the way, so you shouldn't be worried.
All right. So as you guys are kind of like, you know, you're hunkering down still. Barry is no longer seizing; he's just unconscious. He is bleeding from his one good eye, which isn't a good sign, but whatever.
Oh yeah, how's Barry doing?
Haven't checked.
Good to know.
I guess I'll.
Mhm.
Maybe check on Barry?
Maybe?
I will
Maybe.
wait a solid, like, I don't know, 20 seconds, and if nothing happens, then I will, I guess, check on Barry, see if there's anything I can do for him.
Okay.
A good move.
So you moving and go check on Barry. He's no longer seizing, like I say, he's unconscious. He's bleeding from his one good eye, mostly good eye. His eye. I mean, in terms of what you could do for him, I mean, his face is riddled with glass, so, and also like 3rd-degree burns. You can see his muscle underneath his nose, half gone, like melted gone. It's real bad. Whatever someone did to him or did to that VR headset, meant serious business. Like that wasn't like, I think Cairo can maybe do it. I think you can do the mini version of it that like cause people to catch fire if they're in the Matrix.
Oh yeah.
You have the weaker version of that.
Yeah.
of what happened to Barry. So yeah, you could probably like, I don't know, start taking the glass out of his face. I guess.
I'd leave it in. I'd leave it in because if he's not actively, being caused bleeding damage, just taking something out could cause more bleeding. So technically what's in his face right now is stinting the bleeding, so...
Yeah, surprisingly between the glass in his face and the fact that his flesh is melting off, surprising lack of blood.
Exactly, so just hey, you know what? Wait for backup.
Okay. So yeah, you look over Barry and stuff, and you hear a lot more screaming from downstairs, followed by a bunch of very rapid gunfire shots and like another grenade explosion. And you're like, uh-oh, that's unfortunate. And you're like, that's not going to be good. And you hear a bunch more shooting, and then eventually all the screaming stops, and it's just dead quiet downstairs. And you're scared.
But droids can't feel fear.
Like, I mean, he's sentient, so he can. He's just doesn't have to give into it. So do you want to do anything at this point in reaction to hearing this massacre go down?
I think I'm going to pick up the dead guy and bring him into the booth with me, and then I'm gonna have to sit tight.
All right, you do so, and you do hear a few boot steps and stuff. A few pairs of boot steps enter the hallway on the second floor where you are, and you hear them. One of them's like, "Hey, Johnny, you in here, man? What's going on?" And like, no, I assume you don't respond. And or are you gonna respond? Be something funny.
Actually, I can see this guy, or can I make out what this guy's uniform would have been before he got accused?
Yeah, you did. We didn't see him, but yeah, you can make out vaguely what it would look like.
Well, then I'm going to, I guess, disguise.
And
I'm going
this
to.
guy? As a dead
Yes.
dude? Okay, give me an intelligence check to see how good your disguise is.
3.
Okay. You think yeah. I mean, you kind of did like the Photoshop thing of just like using like the fill tool or like the copy tool to fill in the bloody parts. But you think it'll pass for the moment.
Very well then.
All right. Anything else you wanted to do?
I guess I'm going to call out into the hallway that I think I got him.
Okay, make me a charisma check to impersonate this man's voice, since you only heard him say like 10 words.
9.
Oh, okay, pretty good. Okay, so then so you're like, I think I got him. And the other two dudes out, or the guys in the hallway, they're like, great, and you hear them getting closer. And as they get like, you would imagine halfway to you down the hallway, you hear like the hovercraft sounds through the wall that's behind you, that leads out into this like outside. You kind of look there, and it's a solid wall. There's no windows. And then probably like a second afterwards, you see this like bright glowing line appear like 5 feet off of the floor level, and it begins cutting a doorway in the wall, basically. As it begins carving out, it probably gets like halfway, 3/4 of the way. By the time these two other unknown cloaked assassins enter the room, or like enter the doorway, and they peek in and they're like, you got him. And then they see the dead guy next to you, and they're like,
And I guess that's when I turn around and I start blasting, you know?
okay, I'll give you a surprise round, sure. Actually, how about this? Let's do this. So, they come into the doorway, they're like, oh, you gotta, and they see the dead guy next to their kind of friend, and they raise their guns up, and you draw your pistol, and then we cut to black. On their cliffhanger.
So are we still on the phone with him at this point?
Yes.
Sick. Well, that does seem to be the end of the episode, friends. So, if you enjoyed what you've seen here today, let us know. Any input is good input. I'm kidding. Subscribe. Your life depends on it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you next time on Quest for the Core. Will Barry survive? Will LSSI shoot Oid because they think he's one of the guys that are trying to kill Barry? Who knows? We'll just have to wait till next time and see.